ready to go just as they come through the door, so he ends up killing all of them. And then, mentioning something like, oh, your spurs, meaning like your spurs is what gave you away. But then he hears the little clink of the spurs behind him because Tuco gets the drop on him. And Wallach's got another one of my favorite lines, which is, there's two kind of spurs in this world. Ones that come through the door and then ones that come through the window. But he basically set those guys up to get killed.
Yeah, he knew Blondie was going to be too smart and take him out. And so he was like, he promised them, like, yeah, I'll split them, all the money that we're going to get, I'll split it with you. But he knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah, those guys were the bait.
Yeah, he used them just as a mere distraction to get the drop on Blondie, which he does.
And then that leads into, the famous scene in the desert, which is, man, the direction and the cinematography of that desert sequence is beautiful.
Definitely. That was all shot in Spain, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, I believe the majority of the film is shot in Spain, if not all of it. Which doubles as New Mexico. The movie itself is supposed to take place in New Mexico. But yeah, all shot in Spain. But even in the desert, like, he's forcing Blondie to walk, 100 miles. He's telling him, oh, I bet someone like you can last if you're careful.
But even go ahead.
I was gonna say, just even in that scene, like, Wallach's hilarious. He's just taunting. He's taunting Blondie. He's washing his face. He's washing his feet in water while Blondie is dehydrated and thirsty. And he's just taunting him. He's having his fun. He's got the little parasol.
Yeah, the pink
shield himself from the sun.
Yeah, and it's like pink, and he's just like, look what you don't have for that entire time. And then you go back to, you look at, after a while, you look at Blondie's character, and he's just like super sunburned to the point where it's like his skin is like peeling off his face. Oh man, those effects are just, they hurt.
Yeah, the makeup, it looks pretty bad. As someone who is very fair-skinned, because I'm a projectionist, so I spend all my time inside and mostly in the dark, I do not fare well in the sun, and I've been sunburnt pretty bad a few times because I was stupid and didn't think to wear sunscreen. And seeing Eastwood and those makeup effects, it makes me glad that I never got that bad.
Yeah.
But man, is even after the desert, Wallach's hilarious. He's all ready to kill Blondie, and then is interrupted by the phantom carriage that's riding through with a bunch of the dead soldiers in it. And that's, he talks to one of the soldiers, turns out to be alive, and that's the guy that tells him about there's buried gold somewhere. But he goes to get the guy water, and then Blondie's the one that manages to crawl over and hears the last words from the dying soldier, who tells him under which name or which grave the gold is buried. And then Tuco immediately switches gears. Instead of being cold-blooded and ready to kill him, he's pleading for his life, and he's trying to save him. Not because, it's the decent thing to do, but because he knows that, he knows where the gold is, so I need to keep him alive. And he's trying to put, like, the water on his lips and trying to get him to drink, and then he's worried that if he drinks, he's going to get sick. It's funny, man. He's so good in this movie. And he switches gears all the time, and keeps you surprised. Even when they get to the mission, you find out he's got his brother, and just the scene between him and his brother kind of starts off funny and then gets serious, and you realize like how hurt he was by his brother leaving, and how he's the one that, what could I do? I had to turn to a life of crime. By the way, I think the guy that plays the brother, Padre Ramirez, I think he's, other than Eastwood, he's one of the very few actors that's in all 3 films. I wish I knew the guy's name. I think it's Mario Brega, but he's in all 3 of them.
What about, we have to talk about, before we jump off of Tuco, that incredible beating that he that he gets when they get to that soldier's barracks.
Oh, when they're in the prison camp?
Yes.
Yeah, it's, Angel Eyes is also on the hunt for the treasure, and we'll get into, how he learns about it in a moment, but he's also on the hunt for the treasure, and he knows that Tuco and Blondie, or he suspects that Tuco and Blondie know where that is, because Tuco is hiding out underneath under the dead soldier's name, the one in the carriage.
That's me.
Yeah. Bill Carson.
That's me.
So Angel Eyes knows that, this guy is lying, so the reason he's going under this name is because he knows where the gold is. So it's really kind of sinister. He lures him in with the meal. He's treating him really nice. He's giving him liquor. He's got the spread in front of Tuco. And then, because Tuco won't give up the location of the gold, he takes a real savage beating by the big guard, who's like twice Tuco's size.
Yeah, that guy was huge, and you feel there's not a lot of brawling in this, so that scene really stands out, and it looks like he's really beating Eli.
Yeah, and this was another thing that you didn't see in a lot of earlier westerns is he's getting beaten. It's pretty brutal, but he's also like there's blood flowing out of his face. There's blood all over the floor. And, that's something that you didn't really see. But even after the beating, he gets shipped off in handcuffs because Angel Eyes gets the information that he needs.
Yeah, Tuco snitches on Blondie, and he's like, Blondie has the location that you need, right?
Yeah,
or the name, and
he has the name. Like Tuco gives up the location because that's all he knows.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But Blondie knows the second part of the information, which is which grave is the gold buried in. So Angel Eyes gets rid of Tuco because he doesn't need him anymore, and he knows that Blondie is much tougher and won't sit there and take the beating. So he basically tells him, "You and I are partners now. We're going to go after the gold. We're going to split it both ways, and then we're going to part." Even though I don't suspect for a second that Angel Eyes was gonna split the money with Blondie in part. I think Angel Eyes was most likely going to kill him and take it all for himself. So let's talk about Lee Van Cleef.
Let's do it. Angel Eyes.
Who I believe Leone wanted originally either Lee Marvin or Henry Fonda to be Angel Eyes. Now, he had worked with Lee Van Cleef for a few dollars more, as we established, but he wasn't the first choice for Angel Eyes. He wanted to work with Lee Marvin or either Henry Fonda.
I believe.
I don't know.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. You go ahead, dude.
I was just going to say something I didn't get to say last night. I think I read that Fonda turned down the role because of people not really taking Sergio too seriously at that time, that he was trying to get him cast. So he was just like, no.
And honestly, like, once he saw the movie, I was 100% wrong. And Fonda is famously the villain in Once Upon a Time in the West, which is Sergio Leone's follow-up to The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And was, a big American production. So he gets to work with Fonda there. I don't know what he was up to, what he had done prior, Henry Fonda. I do know that Lee Marvin couldn't do the film because he was working on The Dirty Dozen with Charles Bronson, Charles Bronson was also considered for the role of Tuco in the film, and they were both making The Dirty Dozen. So they were unavailable, but Charles Bronson is also one of the main characters in Once Upon a Time in the West. So Leone goes back to Lee Van Cleef. I think Lee Van Cleef jokes that he only got the role of Angel Eyes because he wasn't killed and for a few dollars more. But he's such a brutal character. Like, you said in your intro, he's, the sociopathic hitman. And then later he's driven by the quest to get the gold. But how he finds out about it is his first scene in the movie, which is where he shows up on the guy's homestead, and then has this conversation with the guy and trying to figure out where this gold is buried. Which that scene with just the kid on the donkey, and then he sees Angel Eyes like riding down into the property, and then goes inside, and there's that great shot of the down the hallway, and you can see Angel Eyes standing in the doorway of the home, and then there's that. He sits down, the wife and the son take off, and Angel Eyes sits down with the man. And we should point out that there's no dialogue for like the first 10, 11 minutes of this film. Yeah,
it's like only visual, but you still get a sense of what's happening, and it feels there's like a very sinister tone, and it's almost like this guy, he sees who's in this doorway, and there's nothing to do but just wait for what's coming. Like, he's already, I feel like he knows he's gonna be killed, at any moment.
Yeah, as you have said earlier, Leone says a lot without using a lot of dialogue.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's especially when Angel Eyes shows up. The guy knows what's up. He dismisses his wife and kid without actually saying, hey, you need to leave now. He gives them the look, and they know to leave. And even after they leave, he and Angel Eyes, are staring at each other. They both sit down to eat. They're not saying anything to each other for a few seconds. It's all silent. It's kind of this scene that's filled with dread, because you just know that something is up and something's going to happen. And it's this. Once the conversation starts, it's about, I'm looking for this guy. He's, got this gold. This is what I found out. This is the information. And then you get the sense that Angel Eyes is here to kill this guy. And the guy knows it too.